Good morning, everyone. Morning. Thank you very much for turning up for the first session. I wasn't sure if anyone was going to actually be here this early on the last day of the conference, but I do very much appreciate it. And first and foremost, I've got to thank everyone at UBM for such a great event that they produce every year. I've been coming since 2008, and I feel very honored and thankful and blessed that they asked me to speak this morning. So the topic to begin with is the future of manufacturing technologies, and this is a subject very close to my heart. My own background, I'm a biochemical engineer, and if I just go into my presentation here. So today I want to just call out to everyone who's present, anyone who's actually working in industry at the moment, a cry out for more innovation in our industry to take us further. So I will be touching on a couple of topics. First of all, looking at some analytical capabilities that can help our technologies advance further in biomanufacturing. Looking a little bit at downstream purification of biologics. Looking at what are the key drivers there and what's really going to affect innovation moving forward. I will also be touching on facilitating innovation and how different collaborative methods can be taken on board to just come together between biopharmaceuticals, manufacturers, regulatory agencies, and academics. And I'll round up by talking a little bit about disposable biomanufacturing and single-use bioreactors. So just let me give you a bit of a background about myself. I studied at UCL. My PhD and MSc are from University College London. My main interest area has always been identifying the best processes and eliminating the bad processes early on. There are a few examples, few figures and graphs from the publications that I have. And I've always been looking at identifying a few processes that lie in areas of interest where we have the best outcome, so highest yield, best kinetics, for example. I've worked with a number of processes. One of them is the hexallulose 5-phosphate production. So from that background, I have spent most of my career then working with companies like Data Monitor, MedTrack, looking at what kind of information helps companies make the best decisions moving forward for developing their processes. Again, more about my expertise. So I'm very much interested in scale-up, process optimization, upstream, downstream processing. And I will be, in this talk, just giving you a bit of a background about Biopharm inside as well, just to begin with. So it says turning information into insight. I want to highlight that we are actually a team of investigative journalists in-house. This is what differentiates us from the rest of the industry. We have our own journalists on the ground here and around the world that are talking directly to companies, to pharmaceuticals, manufacturers, all across the board. And as part of the Financial Times group, they write exclusively for Biopharm Insight. So often we come across companies that are requesting certain services or they are moving to a particular phase of their development. And they'll come and tell us, yes, these are our requirements, and this is what we need to do. And we'll report on that on the website. So you can see there a company is looking to engage a CMO. And these articles are exclusive to our website, to the Biopharm Insight platform. There are pamphlets there if you are interested to learn more after the talk about the work that we do. But essentially, we are looking to match the right information with the right company so that they can move forward and make the right connections in the industry. It's important to say that these articles are not available anywhere else. We look to catch information 6 to 12 months ahead of time. So we want to make sure that we understand the company's activities before it actually happens. So we are writing information that is not covered by the mainstream press. So we don't just rewrite what's already out there. That's very important to highlight as well. Our database also has full coverage of all the companies. We all have over 500,000 contacts in there now throughout. We've been in existence since 1998. So we have now a full comprehensive coverage of all the companies that are involved at all different levels of the healthcare and pharmaceutical industry. And just a a little bit of an understanding. So we just want you to make sure that you are following the right relevant opportunities for you, and you making a proactive approach to the companies that you want to work with, and you know what they need from you, what they require from the API manufacturer, from the CMO, from the CRO. So essentially helping you uncover leads. We covered drugs, companies, and sales forecasts in the tool as well. So if you're looking to do any sort of market analysis, that's all available to you as well. So I'll be happy to talk about all of that after this talk. We also cover patents, pipelines, so full analysis of companies' pipelines, detailed understanding of their portfolio, what their sales forecasts are going to look like. We also cover information about the conferences that they're attending. What we do have, which is quite unique to our industry, is a part of the database that is solely looking at, it's called Biopharm Outsource, and it's solely looking at companies, a directory of companies that are across the board, life science equipment, for example, CMOs, CDMOs, we have over 600 of those in there, CROs, of course, with full contacts and information about the conferences that they are present in as well. That's quite unique in the industry. It's something that I haven't seen, so it's something that we have been developing and we're promoting here as well. So enough about the company, enough about the background of what I do. Starting with today's topic, why is innovation important? For me, when I talk to some of our financial clients, and when I did the research for this talk, one key factor that came up was how fragmented our market is, particularly when you come to this conference. As I mentioned, I've been coming here since 2008, and so many different companies with different capabilities, different abilities, all together trying to achieve the same goal, which is work with the pharmaceutical industry and win as many customers as possible. And this figure, you can find this anywhere. It's published once a year by many different organizations. It's a clear demonstration of how fragmented our industry is. You can see that over half of each of these pie charts, you can see 400 companies just taking over that half of that pie chart. And I see this every year. There's one for 2012 now, and it looks pretty much the same. When we're looking at, some companies try to differentiate themselves by calling themselves CDMOs, CMOs, whatever you call it. All of these companies have one aim, is to work with pharmaceutical biotech companies to produce the products that they are looking to put into the market. So when I spoke to some of our financial companies, they mentioned that I asked, what is going to happen in this industry is so fragmented? What would be the future? What will it look like? And this is what I came back with. They said that one of the obvious trends will be that private equity will make acquisitions. So we'll pick a few of these companies. They'll divest some of their capabilities, or consolidate them with other companies. So essentially reoffer them and make their money back with profit. So that's one strategy. That's one potential outcome, is where these companies will actually come together and sort of amalgamate by being bought out by private equity firms and so on. Other drivers, other factors in this industry would be, of course, what the biopharm needs. And I will actually go into this in a little bit more detail in a moment about what is it that the biopharm industry actually needs from service providers like yourselves. One of the top priorities that I hear again and again is speed and quality. So people just want production as quickly as possible and as high quality as potentially possible. I actually looked at various surveys that were conducted, and it was quite interesting that location, here where we stand now, 2013, location is no longer a major factor for the biopharm industry. It didn't come up very high on the list of requirements. It's actually speed and quality, and of course regulatory requirements are very key as well, which is something that I will be talking about. So the option is either to get acquired or acquire other capabilities and compile them together and re-offer your services, or another way, probably a lot cheaper, is to actually have innovation. So that's the key. If you want to grow organically, is to have innovative, new methodology that can help the industry. And that's the cry out today for you guys. That's what I'm championing today, the innovation in our industry. It's great to see that also. Yesterday I was reading the daily CPhI news that a major award was given out yesterday for innovation, and I think that's always a great event to see. Regulatory requirements. I'm looking at conducting a webinar later this year on the regulatory requirements when it comes to processes. And there is an EMA, European Medicines Agency document here that I've just highlighted with guidelines on process validation. And it highlights many points when it comes to traditional process validation, but also continuous process validation. It also looks a lot at disposable technologies as well. And when I interviewed some of the companies before this talk about whether this would be interesting for them, they said, yes, this is a key document that we will actually want to know more about and how it affects our processes in-house. So, of course, it's a key indicator of where your industry is going to be going as well, what the regulatory bodies want from you. So now here I'm going to give you 10, to be more precise, 11 examples of where we've talked directly to pharmaceutical biotech companies and what they've asked from us, okay? These are opportunity articles that we write. They're very detailed articles that we write about these requests. They're not usually available anywhere else, so if you want to take notes now, do it now. Otherwise, come and ask me later if you want to know more detail about these, but these are exclusive to us. So these are information that we've covered ourselves, our journalists have covered directly. So I'll be telling you a little bit about what the actual industry has told us about what they need. So number one, we've got immunocellular, for example, and there's no order, or I didn't make any sort of distinction. I just went for what was the most recent in the last 3 months or so, and what stood out to me for this talk. So we've got immunocellular up there. They've got an ovarian cancer phase 2 dendritic cell therapy, and they require the CMO, or the partner, the manufacturing partner, to extract the dendritic cells, load it with the antigen, and reintroduce it into the patient. So they're looking for a CMO who will be responsible for the entire process. And that's quite important. They want them to attain the apheresis product and also even nail down the doses for them. So if you're talking, when I first came here in 2008, there weren't many companies around that could provide that whole range of service. And I'm hoping today some of you will spark an idea or click an idea where you will be able to potentially help some of these companies. Bullet technology, immunotherapy for B-cell lymphoma. They're looking for small batch capabilities. Now that's very interesting. A GMP, CMO, and many CMOs, as we know, have big batch capabilities, very long-standing, well-established big batch capabilities to handle thousands of liters, but Bullet are looking for firms with protein production and conjugate capabilities to make small cup-sized batches for individual patients. So that already tells you how different the kind of provider that they are looking for have to be. So they're looking for an extremely fast turnaround. This is what they've told us directly in our interviews. They're looking for an extremely fast turnaround, high speed, high quality manufacturing. And they said, okay, therefore we're looking at US-based vendors. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Why is that? Why is it that if a company is looking for speed and high quality manufacturing, they have to go to the US? Or they think immediately, oh, I must go to the US. Surely we have that capability in Europe and in Asia-Pac as well. So their product is essentially just a protein with a virus-like particle. This is something that we've been talking about for not very recently, for a very long time now. Xenicos, the phase 2 graft versus host disease product is an injectable, it's a MAB. They're actually working with the CMO, Sanquin Pharma Services. These two are just some examples of the types of collaborations which we have found out about, which you don't usually hear about. You don't know whom these people work with. And it might give you a clue about why that company is working with that provider. Mimetica, we found out that they're They're at a phase 2 peptide mimetic, and they're working with Dow Pharmaceutical Services. And many of these companies, I must have mentioned as well, are in the conference here on the various exhibition halls. Celltaxis, they have a phase 2 phase 2 cystic fibrosis trial happening, and they are working with CMO RX Pharmaceuticals. They're looking for a second agreement in India. So they've chosen India as a region that they want to work with. They use Micron technologies for milling. I think Micron are here on the floor as well. So they've got milling for specified particle size and homogeneity of their product. Is a cystic fibrosis trial, so I'm guessing it's some sort of an inhalable. They use QS Pharma for filling and finish, incidentally as well. Rani, large molecule oral delivery technology. At phase 1, they're looking for a CMO for scale-up assistance for clinical work to happen in 2014. As I mentioned, we want to uncover these type of opportunities for you before they happen so that you can start to talk to the industry, you can start to make ways, having meetings with them to see if you can actually help people like Rani. So they're looking at potential partners with TNF, alpha inhibitors, people like AbbVie and their Humira, or MABs with J&J's and Remicade. So working on oral formulations for basal insulins as well, GLP-1 analog, looking for CMO for scaled production. So they need somebody to essentially scale up their process. Each drug that they will be working on will be different, so they'll need different CMOs for each one. Now again, it makes me think, is that really necessary? If a CMO could provide a whole range of these, with their innovation, they could provide a whole range of these services. And they even have their own in-house modest scale-up. So if a CMO can come along and use that to replicate the processes at higher scale, surely they should be able to just use one provider. Okay, a little bit of a comic break. We also have offices in America and in Hong Kong. But I asked one of my American colleagues to send me a funny picture because I thought I didn't want anyone to be bored first thing in the morning. And he said, send a picture of my dog. And I don't know if that is, that's American humor for you, so I thought I'll include it. But that's his dog fighting with the huge pumpkin that they're going to be carving for Halloween coming up. Yeah, the caption is, I think I'm taking on too much this Halloween, but I think a lot of companies also ended up taking on too much as well with some of the processes that and some of the deals that they make. Nova Biotics, going back to the examples, Nova Biotics, again, cystic fibrosis drug, Linovex. They've got several manufacturing parties that are unknown. We don't know them either. But they're working on novomycin for candida infection, Novoxatin for antifungal, and their CMO is Aptuit, so they're working with Aptuit for that one. Serendex are looking for an inhalable drug CMO as well. I think, not that I was looking for inhalable or sort of lung disease company opportunities, but it just sort of happened to be that way. Essentially, they've got an oral antibiotic, phosphomycin, and they're looking to finalize their API provider. So they're looking for API providers at the moment and to finalize that. Supriya also, again, on the floor here in the conference. They've got presence here in one of the halls. Mumbai, India-based API manufacturer. Now, that's quite interesting because they want to expand and diversify. And they've said that they need $15 million approximately to do this. They've signed memorandums with ICI and Chinese anti-HIV drug manufacturing company as well. They realize that they need to increase their turnover, so they're looking at anti-asthmatics, antihistamines, as well as vitamins, obviously. Nutraceuticals is what they're going into, omega-3 products, and they have an EU-certified manufacturing facility as well. So that's an example of an API manufacturer and what they're looking to do in the future. A company called DVB, very well known for their anti-allergy products. The angry peanut is by me, by the way. It's not their logo, so I hope they don't come to me and ask me for this to be confiscated. But they're looking for a CMO for their delivery technology patch. So they're looking to scale it up. They need manufacturers for their ViaSkin delivery system. They've already worked with a couple of French-based manufacturers. They need to switch to a commercial CMO. and they need to scale up as well. Again, highlighting what the needs are for innovation here. This is something that I haven't, this kind of technology is something that I haven't got any experience with, patches, but there are a few companies in this conference present that can provide that sort of technology. Sanofi manufactures the API as well as the peanut extract. I think they use the peanut extract in the patch itself. So they're looking to scale up. They're looking for CMOs to provide these patches, whatever they're going to look like in the future. And finally, one final example is Biologics to open CMOs, open to CMOs, exploring CROs for cancer and autoimmune disease trials. So these guys, Biologics, are essentially for their autoimmune and cancer trials, they're looking to change to a new CMO that can give them a long-term supply of larger trials and commercial products. And I think that's a key trend as well. Deals that are going to be happening with CMOs that can provide more of a long-term strategy for them. They need a CMO that has large-scale bacterial fermentation volumes, additional downstream manufacturing processes, all the way down to fill and finish as well. They're willing to work, they've said to us that they're willing to work with any geography as long as the CMO has sort of appropriate US and European approvals for commercial manufacturing. So those examples speak volumes. We went all the way from somebody who wanted the material in a cup-sized volume all the way to large-scale production. We also looked at production of patches even. These are direct interviews that we've done, directly talking to the companies and exclusive to Biopharm Insights. So we really want to give you the news directly from when we talk to the customers themselves, your potential partners themselves. So going back to the talk and how innovation can help with these requests. I'll go to a lot of conferences looking at various manufacturing and analytical methods. Earlier this year, I went to a conference, and this is something that I've always been looking towards. I know that more and more processes need to happen at once and together, hand in hand. So we need to analyze more systems and have more control over those particular systems for various experiments and developments that we need to do. I came across this presentation, a very detailed presentation by Bayer on the Bakeromat system that they have. And essentially is an automated online analytics for bioprocesses. It's something that I would have loved to have when I was doing research. You have various different feeds from various different batches, and it's continuously being analyzed. If anyone's from industry will know how difficult it is to, the sampling methodology and how that can affect your whole process. This system has an automated sampling and analysis, which is something that's always been needed. The bottleneck here is, having multiple bioreactor setups, and it's very difficult to have analysis of all those bioreactors. So Bakeromat, they have a system that they say is unattended. You can have unattended operations, 24/7 system of sampling, and I think it it can be used with fed batch as well as long-term perfusion cultures as well. It has a fed back control strategy. I've just tried to summarize the whole presentation on this product myself for you guys. So it has online analytics, constant quality testing, automated cell culture analysis. You can set your own boundaries within the tool itself. It also maintains sterility, so as soon as it takes the sample, it sterilizes it as well, sterilizes the system for the next sample. It has an analytics of lactate, glucose, and the key importance, the timing is consistent for every sample. Other examples of analytical capabilities that I came across, again, these are our own research, our own articles that we've published. Speaking to Eurofins, they're planning to raise funds to finance acquisitions. Eurofins is a very well-known group. They have over 100,000 analytical methods, and they've told us that yes, if organic growth happens to be stronger, they will reduce the amount of spend that they're going to be making on acquisitions. But if that doesn't happen, they're looking to reach out there and acquire other analytical companies. And they're not very much interested in a particular geographic region. Any company, they're already present in 35 countries, so any company that can help them and add to their portfolio would be great. And from here on, I'll go to a little bit more about downstream processing, downstream purification of biologics. So having looked at analytics, I'll give you some examples of where we think key drivers are that are going to affect innovation in technology development. The main issue, as I mentioned, is the drug safety. So EMA, as I mentioned, the guidelines that they have. I've been to a few drug safety conferences this year, and that's a major, major concern with companies that are having to file and report pre- and post-market authorizations. I don't know if anyone's familiar with PSUR, submitting safety data, PBRER, 21 sections of information that pharmaceutical companies need to file. We are talking tons of information that need to be filed about their products. And there are going to be fines, even jail, if these are not filed properly. So, of course, purification becomes more and more important. Downstream processing becomes more and more important. And at the same time, if anyone is from industry here will know that we're always trying to drive down the cost of downstream processing steps and limit those steps. So how do we balance safety with limiting these process steps? One example I'm going to give you is i3 membrane that I came across, German company. Again, we've interviewed the CEO who told us they're looking for 2 million EUR or a partnership. I'm going to come back to i3 membrane soon. Just to tell you, they're a German filtration technology developer. What's different about them is that they have these ultra-thin metal membranes. So talking about new innovation, new technologies here, these membranes are something that I never came across. They have basically, they're produced by implanting ions from noble gases into the actual metal foil itself, stainless steel or titanium. And unlike traditional polymer membranes, they don't produce contaminants, there are no extractables or leachables. So that was for me quite unique and it stood out for me. And it can also withstand high temperatures because it's metal. There are no we can sidestep all the absorption issues, any problems that we have with polymer counterparts. We can sidestep those with this metal technology. And it also doesn't require a complex chemical process to produce it, only noble gas and power. So that's one example. i3 membrane is one company that we spoke to. And I'll come back to those guys in a moment as well. Again, keeping with the theme of purification and downstream processing, Pall, they're present here as well, great company. They have a new CFO who's very strong in M&A skills. So from speaking to various sources, we know that they are looking to potentially buy out other companies to help them in their portfolio of services. So they're interested and could look for acquisitions for its bioreactor business. They make tabletop bioreactors, biocontainer systems, bioreactor filters, related products. What we heard is that obviously the filtration business is a very expensive place to grow by acquisition. So again, another call out for new innovation in the filtration business, as opposed to acquiring companies. Probably much better to have some in-house innovation. One potential partner that we highlighted through our interviews was Polypore. There might be an interesting acquisition for Pall because the company is one of the largest players in the battery separators business. Also has a good life science filtration business. It would be a very good partner with a life science filtration business like Pall. So it could bolster Pall's offerings essentially, and I've just pasted some information about Polypore's capabilities. Rounding up, final example for downstream purification, one of the biggest news pieces that came across to me this year, not only because I have some of my colleagues from my university days working for them, Life Technologies, and their collaboration with Thermo Fisher. I want to talk a little bit about what happens when these companies come together, when acquisitions and collaborations happen, and what does it really mean in the industry. So Life and Thermo obviously want to go into the Chinese market as well. But we, throughout doing interviews and doing various research pieces, we identify that potentially they're going to be quite a lot of detailed scrutinization of what the company is going to look like, particularly their nucleic acid purification. So basically, nucleic acid purification is a range of common methods used to prepare DNA and RNA for analysis and research. Now, in Beijing, you have a Beijing-based Tiagen Biotech. They're the market leader there already. They're supplying this type of lab consumables. We have Netherlands-based QIAGEN. They're the second largest. And also, Life Technologies is a big player as well. But Thermo Fisher competes in the same space. So when it comes to going to China, what we presume and what we expect is that China's antitrust regulator, the Ministry of Commerce, MOFCOM, they're going to be reviewing in a lot of detail what the Thermo Fisher and life science collaboration could mean in their market. Okay, so you can break down Thermo Fisher and life sciences purification products by a lot of categories, and this regulator is going to have to go into a lot of detail to make sure that this foreign competitor is not going to cannibalize their own market. And since last we heard, and literally a few days ago, Thermo and Life have filed with MOFCOM for their collaboration. So watch this space for the development of Thermo Fisher and Life in China. Okay, going back to I3 very quickly. So this is all about facilitating innovation through collaborations. And I want to use I3 as an example. They're a company that said to further develop their work, they need to get involved with technology providers. They need to get involved with various organizations to help them get their CE marking by 2014. So they perhaps need more specific research to be done to make it into an implantable device, the membrane that I told you. So the work is likely to be conducted by academic institutions. So that shows you that companies like this will need to work with academia to help them develop that filter system. Aside from doing deals with original equipment manufacturers, which they might help them co-develop the product together with them, they've also held talks with filtration specialists like Pall and Sartorius Stadium as well. They've also spoken to several analysis specialists as well. They are thinking about working directly with pharmaceutical firms over the use of their technology. Now that's talking about collaboration with the pharmaceuticals. That could be an option, but from what we've uncovered by speaking to the CEO, he says that this type of deal could take a long time. So essentially, if you've got a pre-established pharma production process, when you want to come in to that process with a new production, with a new supplier, the whole process must be reevaluated. So I think essentially at the end what we want to look at is peer progressive networks between manufacturers, regulatory agencies, and academics. Final topic here, very quickly, I want to highlight 3 quick examples of single-use bioreactors for biomanufacturing. I'm going to talk about a couple of Chinese pharmaceuticals here. There is a lot of growth, a lot of new buildings and R&D institutions, R&D centers being built. So we've got HiXC Pharmaceuticals, for example. They're looking to in-license bench projects, seeking partnerships. Again, the CEO told us this. So they finished the first phase of construction on an R&D center. It's 2,400 meters squared facility with biosimilar development. We've got Zhejiang Terusi Pharmaceutical. They are very much interested they're in the middle of a pilot scale production, and they've installed a single-use system. Now, this is a rather new technology, particularly when we look at geography such as China. It's a CGMP manufacturing facility, and they have 2 5,000-liter bioreactors to meet FDA, EMA, and CFDA, as well as WHO standards. And this will be validated in June 2014 next year. So, final example here, Boehringer Ingelheim. I don't know if you came across this piece of news. We uncovered earlier than everyone else that Biopharm Insight uncovered that Boehringer Ingelheim are planning to start construction of their second manufacturing facility in China next year. And we've got a lot of detail within what we've written about that facility. They're starting construction of a second manufacturing facility. It's called Bioscience Center. They want to create a CMO business in China. It's going to start, production is going to start, for the center is going to start in 2014, and it will be operational in 2016. the whole facility is based on disposable technology. So that's quite a key factor to highlight, really. A new facility, 100, 500 liter, as well as 1,000 liter single-use bioreactors will be there. And they're looking to supply the industry with toxicology material, clinical trial, enough material for their clinical trial applications, clinical use material, product launch, early market supply as well. So enough material for early market supply. They will house single-use bioreactors with isolator-based fill and finish manufacturing capabilities and quality systems. So Boehringer Ingelheim is right now at the technical planning phase. It will be GMP certified ready in 2015, producing the first 500-liter clinical supply for phase 1 material and bulk drug substances in 2015. So that's the plan. It's quite exciting news for everyone who's connected to this industry, particularly for single-use bioreactors. They are saying to us that they need to make sure that it's quite consistent, the platform is quite consistent across the board, because it eases the process of transfer between Boehringer Ingelheim and its various sites around the globe. And it needs to be compliant with their internal quality standards. Other single-use tech providers include Zellerex, Millipore, and Sartorius. I think they're actually helping them provide these technology for them. And yeah, disposable bioreactors are currently available only up to 1,000 liters. So scale-up is rather limited for commercial, in comparison to commercial reactors. So again, more innovation needed for those, for single-use bioreactors. And I'll end there. Sorry to go into a lot of detail, but if you need to know anything more, please do get in touch with me, and you can follow Biopharm Insight on Twitter or directly contact me on my email. You have my phone number there as well. I'm more than happy to talk if there are any questions, and I'll open the floor now. Thank you very much.